A Christian sent me a message, and I've been getting these for years. And he said, David, you could reach lots more Muslims with the gospel if you just, you're presenting good information, but if you didn't present it in this harsh way. I basically learned as I went along. I'm a bit more aggressive by nature than lots of other people. And I mean, I became a Christian in jail.
We had an interesting conversation at dinner where we talked about Dr. Sean McDowell, myself, a couple others, talked about some of the accusations against you in terms of how you engage Islam. And you get a lot of pushback about you're too harsh, you mock too much, you attack their prophet too much. And you gave a very interesting cultural breakdown of why you use these different elements. And then you told us a practical story of someone that was pointing to a reference, and the story ended in a very ironic twist. So can you kind of give us, why does David Wood kind of go hard on Islam in the way you go hard on Islam? I mean, that's not you saying the only way to do it.
Yeah.
And then tell that story about the gentleman that you went back and forth with.
I basically learned as I went along. I'm a bit more aggressive by nature than lots of other people. And I mean, I became a Christian in jail, and then I was a Christian in prison, and it's just a more aggressive environment. And then I was that way by nature and by my being an early Christian and so on. So when I got out, then I meet Nabil, and he's also pretty aggressive in the way he approaches things. So we became really good friends, but we were also just blasting away at each other. And we didn't see any problem with that. But over time, I learned that Nabil responded a lot more if you're sort of just bluntly, forcefully coming at him rather than, trying to be nice or something like that. And at first I thought it was him because I didn't know a lot of other Muslims. I knew Muslims in prison, but that was prison Muslims. That's not like nice Muslims walking down the street and so on. So I was that way from interacting with Nabil. And I learned from him that he actually respects a more aggressive approach. And it was, like I picked that up when we were watching a debate between Jamal Badawi and William Lane Craig. And that was one of the most one-sided debates I've ever seen. I mean, Craig absolutely crushed everything Badawi said. Badawi couldn't answer anything Craig said. And by the end, Badawi was like yelling and so on. And from a Western perspective, most people would look at that and say, you're yelling because you're desperate, you're losing and you're getting flustered. And Craig is calm because he knows he's winning. He doesn't have to start yelling. We finished watching the debate. I would have scored it like 95-5 to be generous. And we finished that, and I said, so, Nabil, what'd you think? And he said, Badawi clearly won. It was very interesting to me because there are people who just side with their guy, but Nabil's not like that. Nabil will honestly assess, a debate. And so I was like, what are you seeing? And it took me a while to unpack it. And what he was seeing was, when he actually broke it down to me, when Badawi starts yelling, it's because Badawi is passionate because there is a man who is leading people astray about God. And so he is so confident that he's right, that it's welling up in a righteous anger. Craig is calm because deep down he doesn't believe what he's saying. And so I have to be aware. I'm thinking I need to be aware of what they're seeing because we're looking at the same thing and seeing things completely differently. So I had to be kind of aware of that. And as time goes on, I found out other Muslims think the same way. Not all Muslims, but there a higher proportion of Muslims.
Is it like an honor culture thing? Because I don't want to just hypergeneralize, just be like Arabic people are more aggressive.
Yeah.
Like what is it?
It's if you're becoming angry, it's to lots of them, it's a sign that you're right. Right. Okay. And if you're just sitting around calm and you're saying, well, I disagree, it's because it doesn't even get you excited. Like what's wrong with you? Do you really even believe this? You can trace this back in the Muslim sources where Muslims would have an argument and they would say, but we knew he was right because of how angry he got, or because he was willing to kill over it. That's a sign that he's right. If you're willing to kill over something, you must absolutely know you're right. Right. And this is connected to things that go on around the world. In Pakistan, when they form a mob and kill someone over blasphemy, that's like a sign that we're right. Right? You see how violent we get over these things. So it's built into at least a good portion of the Muslim world and so on. So anyway, I just developed over that. And, that's the approach I developed over time. And I just noticed lots more Muslims were responding when I just came at their prophet. Meanwhile, Christians are telling me, no, you're just going to drive them away. And I heard that from years. And I was like, what are you talking about? When I blast their prophet, they can't stay away. They just keep coming at me. And then I just start getting tons of messages about, from Muslims leaving Islam and so on. But the story you're talking about was one day a Christian sent me a message, and I've been getting these for years. And he said, David, you could reach lots more Muslims with the gospel if you just, you're presenting good information, but if you didn't present it in this harsh way, you get a much better reaction.
You attract more honeys with, attract more flies with honey?
Yeah, and so I'm like,
the Bless God Black Friday sale is here. We have 25 all the way up to 50% off on select items, and we've brought back some of your favorite collections from the past several years. But this sale isn't just bringing back the old collections. I now have my very first ever 60-day devotional available right now. It's called the Occupied Till I Come, and it takes you through the entire narrative of Scripture in 60 days, 35 days in the Old Testament, 25 days in the New Testament, with custom journal prompts for you to write in every single day. Head over to blessgod.shop right now to get the discipleship bundle, where you'll get a prayer journal, our leadership planner, and my brand new devotional with a total of 58% off its entire retail value. While buying fun things and getting great deals during the holiday season is nice, buy something for yourself and a friend that's actually going to deepen and help you grow in your faith.
Have you seen my channel? They can't stay away. What are you talking about? And he eventually said, well, you should be more like Jesus. I said, wait, you mean more like, woe unto you scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites, you brood of vipers? I'm not going to call Muslims brood of vipers, man. Don't tell me to be like that. And he said, okay, well, he's Lord. He can talk to people like that. You should be more like the apostles. And I said, oh, really? More like the apostle Paul, who said to Elymas the sorcerer, you son of the devil, you enemy of all righteousness. I'm not going to go around calling Muslims sons of the devil. I'm not going to do that. Don't tell me to do that. And he said, well, it's just practically speaking, the culture has changed. I said, what do you think Islamic culture is more like your culture in the West, or more like first century culture? Because I think it's more like first century culture in how they think and so on. And we just went back and forth. And finally he said, look, there's a book called Seeking Allah, Finding Jesus.
He got you.
Yeah. He said,
checkmate.
Yeah.
You're pinned.
Yeah. He goes, it's about a Muslim who had a Christian friend who just loved him for years. And I thought he'd like, is he like messing with me? Like he's saying, you need to go back to the way you used to be. And so I said, wait, are you joking? You know that's me, right? In the book. And he goes, no, I didn't know that. I go, what are the odds of, out of anyone you could tell me to be like, you would tell me to be more like myself? And he said, wow, I feel like I just tried to tell William Lane Craig about the Kalam cosmological argument now. But it was really interesting because I had to break it down. I was like, if you think I was just being super nice and sweet to Nabil all those years, no, I was being exactly like I am now. In fact, I was being harsher than I would be with lots of Muslims today, because we were friends. You can kind of endure it. And it's a really good situation. That's probably the best situation to be in, being friends, because, if Nabil blasts me or I blast him, we don't think, oh, you hate me, you're trying to kill me or something like that. We understand it's because you want the best. We want the best for each other. And so that's a good situation.
Would you say it's different with Muslims, perhaps more westernized Muslims, who maybe are second generation Americans, family came here from the Middle East, but and would you say maybe what they're saying is true for, hey, tone it down a little bit, because the Muslims here kind of need a softer approach, versus a lot of your audience, it's outside of the West, or maybe it is a bit more intense with their Islam?
Yeah, it's going to depend on the person. Okay. Even in the Middle Eastern context, you will get Muslims who would respond more to a nice, calm, loving approach and so on. But to me, there were Christians who were already doing that, right? You needed someone who's blasting away at Islam. And so, yes, you basically, in the course of a discussion, you're going to find out what sort of Muslim you're dealing with. And I just say, respond accordingly.
Thank you so much for checking out the video. Comment down below and let me know what you think. And be sure to check out this video that YouTube is recommending just for you. Let me know if they nailed it. All right? I'll see you over there. Peace.